Yeah, so today we will discuss object-oriented ABAP. Okay, so object-oriented is nothing but it's a kind of programming, like a programming method. So we'll just see what are all available in my object-oriented programming. Let me write something. So these are the basic things available. The terminology is what you see in my object-oriented classes, then methods, yeah, write that. Attributes. This is the terminology we will discuss in detail. Okay, so let's see what are all there. And yeah, so along with attributes, you will have the visibilities like whether it is private, public, or protected, all this. Okay, so we will also see how these things will be used one by one. So this is just a like overview of what all are available. We'll see everything on my screen level. Okay. Yeah. So if you see just a generic view of representation of an object. So if I take an example of vehicle, okay. So vehicle is my generic object. So it is a generic nomenclature. There is nothing specific actually. It is a so vehicle is my like you can say a design object representation. So it will have different attributes. Okay, like vehicle might have uh, color. That is attribute which is maybe you can use in class. So my attributes are like company, model, color. Maybe you can take variant like see then the color. Okay, so what is the chassis number? Chassis number is my so it will it's a value, so it will hold some values. Okay, so we are just describing those. Apart from attributes, so we can take something called maybe APIs, or you just what I can say this. So this is technically methods. Okay, so methods, yeah, we can say it as APIs as well, application processing. Okay, then what we can take example is let me see, like a calculate speed. Okay, so calculate speed means it is a method. Okay, it will give my runtime attributes. It will fill my runtime attributes. So if you want to calculate speed, yeah, you can just give some input output. Speed is like okay, the distance covered by time taken. So that one formula you can put it here. Just calculate it. So this is just an example. Okay. So now these are all put in together. So this is uh, here comes the term encapsulation. Okay. So my vehicle, my attributes, my APS, everything is encapsulated into my one particular object. So this is a generic object. Oh, okay. So now we can, when this is a generic object, so it's like a template. We have a template. Okay. Using this template, you can also like create other vehicles. Like that vehicle may be a car, lorry, bus, anything. So you can just use this class. I mean, you can use this template, and you can just write your own code in your what you say this your particular object. Okay, so here what may happen is these are two types of classes. One is a static class and instance class. Okay, so if you declare this as a direct car model, suppose I have Mahindra's maybe Mahindra XUV. So if you declare this as a Mahindra XUV class, so this cannot, you cannot reuse that. You will have to reuse only for my other same vehicles. But if you give a generic name called vehicle, all this, you can just reuse it and just write your own code. Okay. Now let me tell you what are the other things available. Okay. So these are some common terms you will hear in my object oriented, like encapsulation. So this is what we just saw. It is encapsulated in my complete set. So then my inheritance. So inheritance is like now vehicle is my main class, and the subclass is my maybe XUV 500. So it's a parent child relationship. So that is inheritance. We'll see everything in system. Then exceptions handling, event handling. Exception handling is similar to that what you saw in my uh, function module SE37 programs, same thing, but the way we use it is different. Okay, then event handling, yeah, so any events you saw, maybe in my SE38 program you saw start of selection, so that is an event. So that is actually event handled by the system. We are not doing anything. So if you want to create any events separately and you want that system to handle it, you will have, there is a small procedure to follow. We'll see that. Okay, now let us discuss upon. Okay, there is something called friendship class. So this is like sharing the attributes. So all those we will just see one by one in my system. Okay, sorry. So there are two types of classes. One is local class and global class. Local class and global class is like this is my visibility. So if you create it locally and my SC38 programs, it is a local. So it's like you don't want others to use it. Okay, you will use it within the class. And there is a global class. There is a transaction code SC24. I will add it. Let me show that. Okay, so this is my SC24. Here I'll add it to my T codes as well. So the new transaction what we saw today is SC24 class builder. Sorry, spelling mistake. Class builder. Okay, so this is how my transaction looks. I just come back. You see any program or whatever you give the whatever object you want to see, you will have a search option like this F4 help. You can see what are all available in my system. Okay, either directly you can give that the value here if you know the program name. Okay, if you don't know the program name, so two ways I can just see. So again, Z start it starts with Z, then it will come as a custom object, other is a standard. So we have two different things here. Business objects we discussed like okay, I'll just show over that. So there is a transaction we discussed SWO1. Okay, so in that we saw right. Sorry, API it's registered here. So this is separate topic we just discussed. This is on top of my APIs, RFCs. So if you register that RFC here, that will be a business object. Okay, or a BAPI. Okay, so and if you just give BUS star, you can see these are all available. Okay, so let me take an example for cost center. I'll display. Okay, so if you see as in class same, so it will have interfaces, key fields, attributes, methods, and events. Okay, so methods sometimes it will be like if you just double click on any of my methods, these are APIs. Okay, so I go to display object. See, this is my general. So if I go to ABAP, it's a transaction. Okay, so for this they have attached my transaction. So similarly, you can give a function module. You can give an API function or dialog program or report. You see, whatever you have all these options here. Okay, so you can just this is purely based on my requirement. So if you have any existing one, you can just give it. You can give a report. You can give a function module. So this is what I was telling. This is a result type. So that's how this is what my business object is. So let me go back to my global class. Now, if you know the class, okay. Otherwise, you can search the class browser. So class browser gives you all the classes in your system. I think it will take some time. Let's see if it is coming fast. Otherwise, we'll wait for that to happen. It's taking a lot of time actually. Let me go back to my SC38 program. So we'll see what is this local classes. Okay. So here you can in SC38 program locally, if you try to create a class, I mean class it's a concept actually. So object oriented. Sometimes you will have a requirement like okay, write a report using my object oriented concept. So it's like you create a local class in my program itself. So how the class syntax is here is I can say class data, see class definition, then class implement. See, basically a class has two things. One is a definition, one is an implementation. So if you want to like create local classes, not sure why it is taking. So class method, see, you get the syntaxes here. So maybe it's not coming. It's getting too late. Let me create another transaction. So I'll go to SE24. So here I can just give F4L. It will give all my classes available with the search. So randomly I'll take one object and we'll see are what objects are there. See, this is a basic how the class looks. Okay, so these are some features, parameters, instant generation. See all these parameters which is general data, the message class, interfaces. One by one, we'll go through the tab in detail. So this is just a quick overview of what all are there actually. Okay, so these are the things: events, types, aliases. Okay, we'll discuss one by one. So let me come back. We'll see whether the other things is there. Okay, so I'll try to create a class. We'll see what types of class are there and what are the options we get to while creating. Okay, it's the class name, class description. This is mandatory. Okay, then you have instance generation. Okay, so generally it will have 3 or 4 types. Okay, types of classes. Instance generation. Okay, we'll see one by one. This is my class name. So here my class description I'll give. So I'll just give demo class for maybe for demo class for OAuth. Okay, so I'll just leave it. Then instance generation. So we'll have 4 options here. Okay, so this is the like it's a which what is visibility of my instance. So there are 3 here generally. There's 4 actually: private, protected, public, and abstract. Okay, this is how this is the instance. So it should be how accessible this class is. So it should be private. Private means only certain part. It will be within my class. Then protected, there is something called friendship. We'll see. The public, if it is there, so anyone can access this class. Abstract class, okay, that is the concept. Okay, abstract is like it will have only my uh, definition but not implementation. We'll see one by one. Okay, no problem. Then coming to protected, maybe protected is like there is a concept called friendship. So friendship is like, bus I have some attributes. Then only my friends can share it. Public means yeah, anyone can share it. Abstract is what? Yeah, it's a separate concept. We'll see that in detail. By taking an example, we can see. So it has only abstract. It should have at least one abstract method. Means a method which has only my definition but no implementation. That is again a setting in my system. We'll see that. Okay. Then coming back to my class type. So it's a usual ABAP class. Exception, test class we generally don't use. Okay, it's an ABAP unit testing class. So we'll just majorly use usual ABAP class. Exception, persistence. Okay, so persistence is nothing but you do this insert, change, modify the data, the CURD operations you perform, right? So persistence class is a generated class for doing. If you want to maybe don't want to write code directly to do my CURD operations, you want some a generated code, you can just use that. Then there is something called this. You see this checkbox, right? Let me. Okay. So exception class is nothing but see exception classes. There are you raise exceptions in my what you say this function module. Similarly, you have separate class called exception class. That naming convention is like CX. Okay. So it will not accept this. CX should be there. So ZCX it should start. Standard classes, yeah, it will be like CX underscore it will start. Okay. So we will try to see if there are any exception classes. Okay. Let me see that. So they have same how we did that exceptions in the program. Let me open a function module. Sorry. Source code it is not there. Okay. Let me see CX star. If I just give, it will give me all my exception classes. So this is how it looks. If I take any and then I'll take some class of ABAP documentary, just display it. So if I go to my attributes, properties, it will say, see, okay, this is a super class. Okay, so this is a category is exception class. So it has a super class. So this super, see, yeah, exception class. So different classes are there. So based on my usage, you can just select. So here you can see there is a super class. So this is called something called inheritance that we'll discuss. This program status. So here final class is like, okay, just now I showed you something called inheritance, right? So if you click on final, so you cannot further inherit this class. Okay, so that is the thing actually. So inheritance is nothing but, yeah, it is a parent and child. Okay, parent to child relationship. So my parent, the child inherits some properties from my parent. Okay. So but vice versa is not possible. Parent cannot inherit from child. Okay. So suppose whatever the parent has, it will by default come to child, and on top of that you can just check it. But so final here means the child further cannot have be parent of another child. So that is the meaning of the check flag. So let me give the description and we'll go inside. So I'll keep it, I'll remove it because I want this to be inherited. Just for example, I'm taking. So I'll just give it again. Let me save it. Last for a package, transport. Let us wait for them to happen. Yeah, so this is how my class looks. Okay. So now, so by default, any class now, if you go to my methods tab only. So every time you come here, it will come to it. So these are the different options available, different tabs. So now if you go to my properties, properties, see, so there we have a super class option. Means this can be, I mean, you can give some parent. Let me just explain. Okay, now what are different methods available in my class? So there is a constructor. Okay, so this constructor will default like how it is there in initialization in SC38 report. So whatever happens, that will come first to go to constructor only. Okay. In constructor we have two types of constructors. One is static constructor, instance constructor. Okay. Static constructor. Second is instance constructor. So for one class, there will be only one static constructor, one instance constructor. Okay. Two things we cannot give. It will be only one. So we'll see in system how you can. So this generally this constructors are used to maybe for like default some values or initialize some before the class instantiation to initialize some variables or give some default values. For this purposes, constructor is used. Okay. So if I just come back to my class, so here the visible instant generation will be the four types as we discussed earlier. Same public, private, protected, and abstract. So this is a message class. Suppose you want to use a message class common to my program, the complete class. Here you can declare it. A message class we can give it. So whatever you created in the SC91, you can use it here. And the type of program, yeah, these are the things. SAP standard production program, customer production program. The type of program, that's it. Category also you can generally cannot change it here. If you want to give a super class, these are the options. See, this is part of inheritance. If you already have a super class, the other two options will be enabled here. Undo and redo. Change inheritance. Okay, you can keep on changing. That is okay. You have always have an option to change. Now let me try giving a super class. So the final here says you cannot further inherit this class. Okay. So let me give me super class. Maybe modeled only is like okay. Um, it's like if you check this modeled only from my super class, it will take only my what you say this structure. My I mean class definition. It will not take my class implementation. So that is the option modeled only. Okay. So I'll just give maybe uh, take say AKBG GLBUD. Okay. It is so okay. This is a final class maybe that is why you cannot inherit it. Class EKB is final. It cannot have subclasses. So let me check for any class which is not a final class. So I can also just CL star. Let me give. But finding it's a final or not, it's this difficult actually. Let me try display. This is also a final class. So let me check from my table level. Okay, this is final. You cannot inherit this class. So see, I'll just try to figure out a from table level. Okay, so this is all my classes are stored here. So let me go to the table. Just go to the table entries. So for me, how many classes are there? Yeah, we have sufficient classes, 550,000, around 5.5 lakhs. So if I go to final, I'll just give my condition, any Z star, this is my object name, C, okay, 12,000 are there. Now I'll filter on my final, okay, I'll just go to my options. I want all these files where it is not final. So I'll select option not equal to X. So this will give me all my see how many are there, yeah, around 10,000. That's a good quite number. What I'll do is I'll just okay, so limit is that, so I'll just execute it. So these are all my classes where it is not final. So I'll take some class, maybe I'll just take it. Okay, let's go back to my program, say class. I'll give it as a super class and click enter. Okay, now all the properties, see, once you can give it, it will super class will not be enabled. Now undo or change inheritance will have. So all these attributes should get copied. I think we'll have to reopen. Let me see. Once all these parameters which are in my super class will be coming here to my subclass. Okay. So if I see interfaces, let me see what all are there in my interfaces. Okay, nothing friends, nothing. Okay, we have some attributes, some 6, 7, 7 attributes or 8 attributes. Okay, so this should be copying to my this program. So let me activate it and see whether it gets loaded. Yeah, now let me reload my program in class on our demo class display. See, these methods, okay, have come from my super class. So it has been inherited. So all methods and what you say, these methods attributes will be inherited from a super class. Okay, so one thing is you cannot change those actually directly. You will have to redefine. Okay, we'll see that also. So interfaces, nothing is there. Friends, nothing. Attributes, see, it is not. There is no option to edit. Means you can just what this. Let me take that in a separate window. Maybe I'll just take it in a separate window so that we will have a clear picture. I'll just okay. It will go to display. Then I'll just minimize these screens. Okay, in friends attributes you see, right? So let me compare. So all here it should see. Let me put it into two windows. Just compare. Okay, let me put it in proper shapes. Now see, the right side is my attributes of a parent class. If you see, same thing will be copied into my child class. Additionally, you can add it. So that is what I was telling. Same in my methods also, the 3 methods in my child. So how many are there in my parent? Those things will be like, let me go back. Okay, attributes, yes. you can just add it. Methods also you can add. So methods you see here, yeah, 3 are there here, 3 also come here. So even the level and my visibility are the same. So no events types aliases, so they are not copied here. Okay. Now, so it's like we have inherited all my properties from my parent. Also, you can add a specific um, uh, specific things which are available to my child. Okay. There is another concept called interfaces. So interfaces are nothing but they just have a skeleton part. Skeleton in the sense my declarations. Okay. So if you want to add these interfaces, generally see the naming convention followed in SAP is IF. Okay. So it will only have my like skeleton. What I should say is the declarations, no implementation. Okay. So some interfaces like it is from some framework kind of things. Okay, you can just take the skeleton and give your own implementation. Okay. So this is the general data. So these are the things, we discussed. So interfaces, if I go now, we'll try to add some interface here. So it will everything start with IF. Okay. So I search IF star. Okay. Let me search. So these are the interfaces available. So randomly if I take, see, you should take this based on your requirement. So this, for example purpose, I am taking. So I clicked enter, two interfaces have come up. So what will happen is like, even if my interface, suppose the first one is selected, okay, IFDER maintain. Okay, let me save it. So IF maintain actually has these methods. Okay, so these methods will automatically come in my previous method. Okay, this, let me go back. Okay, you can open this interface in SE24 as such, or you can just double click, it will take you there. Okay, so this interface has all these methods. See, this is how my interface properties looks. Okay, it is interface. So you can identify this as interface. So this interface already has another interface. Okay, so IFDIR maintain has a read also. That is the reason when you click maintain, now even the read has got copied. Attributes, you see gr change context methods. Okay, these are the methods in my interface. So update, delete, create, na. Okay, so these methods will be available in my class now. So whatever is there in my interface, but only my definitions. See, this will not have any implementations. Okay. Okay, now see the methods. See, all the methods have come. See, uh, the interface methods will come up like there's a nomenclature. So as you click, you start. You can give my implementation here. I just double click with nothing else. Okay, so if you then in naming convention you can identify saying, see, if I interface name. So these are my standard methods which are inherited, and these are from interface. Okay, so the nomenclature is yes, the interface name tilde symbol, the method name will be there. So that means that is from a interface. Okay. Now if I go back to this interface name, read. Okay. Methods will have the first name, the interface name, read, and read data is my method. Okay. So similarly, even if interfaces or attributes are there, everything will come from my interface. Okay. So these again have abstract final model. So same things it's applicable. Like it will, sorry, you can sort my methods on my name. Okay, so whatever you want to sort page, it's like all alphabetical order, visibility, scope, static, for instance. Based on this we can sort. So this is just my UI. So all these methods you can change. Then coming back to my interfaces, there are three different things: abstract, final, and model. Same thing as my class. Abstract, it is like only abstract methods. Okay, means it's having only my uh, declaration but not implementation. Final, same. So friendship, what it is, so private attributes or private methods, if you list out that class here, so only that class can access my private method, private attributes. Okay, so these are my attributes, so these are all public, so no problem. Okay, so the first one is from my, okay, methods, attributes. So the level, so the level is visibility. Okay, same thing, it's like same in my attributes and methods. Level is, okay, level is my, how the attribute, it's three things. One is instance, static, and constant. Okay, instance attribute will be accessible only when I create an instance of this class. Static means it will just be available anytime, so you can just have a nomenclature and you can just use it. Okay, constant means yes, it will be just a constant value. Okay, so here if you see the visibility, three things will be there: public, private, and protected. Public means same, so it is publicly used everywhere. I mean, it is accessible. Protected means you just set it friendship class, so only the friendship class can use it. Protected. And private is, yeah, only inside my class we can use it. So these are the three different variables. I mean types of this one, visibility. Then typing is, see, the like is like something, it already has a data declaration. And similarly, you can just give a like. Okay, it's like a data. So if you see the example here, WA Mara is like my IT table. So that is a reference. Like then the type. This is the normal data you can declaration you are using in my SC30 program. You give a data type, same. Type ref2 is my reference classes. So this one what we will do is when we are declaring my classes, you can just say instance, you can just say type ref to the class and instantiate it. Type box, yeah, not use much. There is no much practical usage of it. Okay, so these are my details in my attribute. And at associated type, yeah, similarly in data statements, how we do associated type, structure, class, the description, and of this particular associated type, it will come up. So this is my matner, then it's a material number. That's data element description. Initial value, if you want to default any values, you can give that value here. It should be in single quotes. You can just give that value. If you want to navigate inside, yeah, you can click this and it will navigate to my actual code. Okay, this is just a UI. It's a UI of my class. If you click, yeah, this is how the public section of my class looks. So this is similar to my IC38, same thing. So this is a UI, it's grouped actually. Okay, if you just click, it will just navigate to my that particular section. So see, all my things are declared here. Okay. Then we can see something about let me check 1 minute. So you okay. So now we have different sections, right? Public, private. So it's inactive. So if you say interfaces, these are all public section. So this is my, like it looks something like my SE38 code. Okay. So all my parameters declared in public section, which are put as public, will come there. Attributes, see, attributes are there. So these are inherited. Okay. So other values, if I give, maybe I'll try to declare some variables. Okay. So I'll declare maybe what is that, LT Mara. Okay. I'll take it as maybe I'll say static. So if I just click F4, it will give my value static attribute. Okay. Then my visibility, I'll put it as maybe public as of now. So I'll see how it looks. So type and description will come with my associated type. I'm not giving any initial value. Okay, I've just saved it. So one more parameter I'll put it. I'll just accept it. Just a minute. Okay. So one more parameter I'll put it. Maybe MBW. We'll see. I'll put it as a private attribute and we'll see how it looks. Okay, LT underscore MBW. This one also I'll put it maybe as static. Let me try to put it as static. Yeah, static, and I'll make it private. Now we'll see how it works. Okay, so I'll put it as MBW. I'll just copy paste, enter, MBW description as okay. So now I have put one as static and one as private. Let me activate it. Okay, now let it get activated. Now if you just go to my, okay, so all these values should be grouped into my different sections. Okay, let me go see how the values are here. So what I gave here should be splitting. So I have given one as public and one I have given as private. So one should go to my public section and one should go to my private section. Okay, so if I give filter, there's an option called filter. So what all I have redefined or what I have added as part of my this particular class, those you can see these are I have just added. Others have come from my like inherited ones. Okay, the visibility everything will be only same. So if I just see, if I remove it, it will give all. Okay, similarly for methods, I didn't add anything here. Okay, so if I give filter also, nothing will be here. So let me add one. Create material. Just for example purpose, I am writing it. Okay, create material. I'll give it as a static. Okay, let me give it a static method. Then visibility, I'll put it as public, and I'll give some description. Okay, I'll put some description here. Maybe like create material. Okay, I'll activate it. It's activated. Okay, now I'll go to my sections, public section. So in public section, I have put my, see, if you see this class methods, it's a method. So class data, it's a, I have added this as public. Okay, so class data is my keyword. So if I ask as a like keywords in my C30, class data means it is a public one. Or sorry, static one. Sorry, not public. It is static. So the class data means static. So if I give maybe my create, I'll just create another one as instance. So we'll see how the method is. Okay, I'll just now create instance method. Okay, class material description, I'll just give it as public. Visibility, I'll just keep it same. Level, I'll just take it as instance. Okay, now let me see create material description. I'll just give it as description. Okay, now I'll activate. I'll just let us wait for it activation. Now, okay, I have given one as static and public. Okay, let's see how the keywords are differing now. Okay, so let me go to, I'll just go to my public section. Okay, yeah, public section. See, class methods I have given as create material. The other one I have just given as instance, so it's methods. So that is the difference between my static and my instance methods. Okay, class is a differentiator. If I give class, it is static, otherwise it is public. So we can also declare here itself directly. Suppose I give a method here instead of the UI, it will create here. So it's vice versa. I'll go to private section now. See, I have given only LTEW, MBEW as private. So class, it's a static, means it's a class data. Class data means static actually. Okay. Let me see. Let me go back actually. SE in SE30, sorry, SE80 you can navigate it. Okay. So this red color means it is these are different. Yellow, green means it is public. Red it is private. So my private and public, these are like different attributes. Inherited means it is from my parent class, and it is from my interface. So this differentiation you can see. See, these are all my okay, different thing in SE80. The same similar how you do it in my SE24. Different way you can see it all together once. Now let me just close all my tabs. Okay, let me come back. Just my demo program. సుధా నీకే చేద్దాం అదే నీకు రికార్డింగ్. Okay, so let's see. Okay, these are the class constructor. Okay, I just click that button, so that will be created. This is static constructor. So I have clicked. Okay, this is public, and you cannot change the visibility. Okay, now I click on constructor. Let me see. Okay, so that will create my constructor method. So this is my instance concept. So if you see the level, it will be static, and this is how you can identify the method type. This will come as constructor. So these are the symbol. Okay, constructor. This will be triggered when the, see, for instance constructor will be triggered when the class is instantiated, or my static constructor will be triggered when my class is called for the first time. Okay. Then see, if you just see the symbols, This is how it looks. Okay, this is for my static constructor. Class constructor. Okay, so then we'll see. These are my different materials. Okay, methods of this class. Now let's see if I miss something. So you cannot change this class methods constructors level. It is not editable. Okay. Now let me check what else I am missing. Okay. So constructor, fine. I think that is all on my constructor part. Okay. Now if we want to already redefine a method, so this is how you do it. Okay. So let me just save the change. So redefinition is like already existing method, you can just redefine. See, this is how it looks. So you can just add your logic here. Okay, so it's now converted. So it means you don't want to use my parent logic. You just want to put your own logic. Okay, so this is my logic for my parent class. Okay, so if you want this, yeah, fine. If you don't want this, you can just redefine. So in redefinition also, it's like okay, first you want to call this logic, then put in your logic. Okay, then what you can do is just redefine this method. Okay, so if you just click on redefine, this is the button you can see. Okay, now let me wait for that. Where is that? It's taking so much of time. And yeah, not sure why it's taking so much of time. Let me okay, let's close my other tabs. Okay, yeah, it's open. Now, so this is like previous class. This will be commented by default. So if you have a requirement like first you have to call that logic, then you want to call your own logic, just uncomment it. So that now what will happen? First the parent class method will be called to see the super means the super class. Okay, super class method. Then you can add your own logic here. Now what will happen? First my super class method that fetch MARC from my previous class will be executed. Then your own logic, whatever you have added here, will be executed. Okay. Let's check, then activate. Okay. This better. What happened? Okay. Class construct implementation is missing. Okay. So for method constructors implementation should be there. Without implementation, it will not accept. Okay. So that is the reason it's not activating. Okay. So now let me just see what I can. I'll just close it. Now we'll see what is this class with attributes. Okay. I'm just seeing if I missed them explaining anything. Okay. This is how it looks like. Nara, detail view, buttons, anything, methods, redefinitions. Okay. Now, similarly, how this my function modules have my import parameters, export parameters, exceptions. Same wise, even my class will have my import parameters, exceptions, export parameters, all those. So this is the button. Click on parameters. Okay. Then this is how the UI looks for the parameters, exceptions, same. So as in the function module, how we added, similarly you can add it here. So this is my method exceptions for this method. So you will know for this method you are writing my exceptions. Now going back to my methods. Now this method. I'll go back to parameter. Okay. So method parameters. So for this what method? So you will know this. Okay. For this method I am writing. Okay. Now the typing is like here we'll have like import, export, all those things we'll have, but we'll see how we can use it. Okay. Now let me check what are all options available. Okay, let me show you my C38 example. Okay, I'll just show C38 same program. Okay, so in my I can write my perform. Okay, perform maybe in it using. So using is one. Okay, then changing is changing parameter Using means yeah, you cannot change the values. Changing, you can give input value, then you can change it in your program and come back. I think returning is also there, but not sure whether perform this will take. No, it is not there. Returning, no, it is not there. So in here you will have. So I can give a parameter and type. Okay, let's type is same like before. So importing, exporting, changing, and returning. Importing means same. So importing, all these are like similar to my function model parameters. Okay. So importing, you cannot change the values. Exporting, you give back the value to my call program. Changing is similar, but returning is like equivalent. Let's say there are something called number ranges. Number, suppose you are creating a sales order. Where is that sales order number coming from? So it creates something called object numbers, OBGN or something. So when you call this method, it will only return my next available number. So that is the purpose of returning. Okay. So that returning one you can use it in that case. So you don't want to give any import parameters, export parameters. You don't want to give any changing, but you want only some value from my method to my calling place. Then my returning will come into picture. Okay. So that is my returning parameter. These are all the 4 types available. Okay. Now I'll go back to my. I'll just close my windows. Okay. These are all my parameters. Okay. Close. Now, what is my pass by value? So this is similar to my same as in my function model, pass by value and optional. So pass by value means you will accept a value, not references. Okay, there are two things. If you uncheck this, it is pass by reference. Okay. Then optional means yes, the same. While calling this method, want this parameter mandatory or not? Those are the two things available. Associated type, yeah, same. Like what type you give and what is the default value and what is the description. So these are the things available. Okay. Now exception, same what you have in my SE like the other SE37 function modules, you can give it here. You can give my exception description. Okay. Then in the methods, let me go back methods. So if you see my documentation detail, yeah, here you just instead of double clicking, you can also see. Okay. This okay, I haven't missed it. Okay. Coming back to my events. So same similarly, you will have there is a separate concept event handling. Okay, so if you give a event, you should have a event handler method. Because if you raise a event, something you should handle. So for that purpose, there is some few small steps to be followed. We will discuss that going forward. Okay, just let me see if I can have any event handler classes. Okay, so I give my event name, event what type it is. The event has my parameters also. Okay, let me give some name. Okay, start. Okay, start event. Then type is static or instance. Okay, similarly, that is my. I'll give it a static. My visibility is same. Public, private, protector. I'll give it for public. Then I'll give demo event. Okay. No parameters. I can give any importing, exporting parameters. Parameters. See, this will be my inputs to my event. So default value description same. The optional. So these are all same. Okay. So let me see what else is required on my events part. Okay. Let me go back to my methods. Okay. Event handler you need to give every type. Okay. So for this event, I'll save it. Okay. I'll go back to my method. Then I should give a method called handle start. So this is my start events handling method. So now what are the steps to be followed? We'll see. Okay, by default, if you click enter, it will go to instance and private, but I'll make it, okay, let it be instance only. Okay, static, I'll make it. Okay, then the visibility, let it be private. Okay, I'll click here. So here, if you go to, you'll have class definition, method definition. If you go to method definition, so the same parameters what you give there are also available in my parameters here. Okay, so exceptions, parameters, and attributes it will be available. Okay, you can give class name, description. I mean method name will come up. So if I go to my attributes, it will have the same visibility. What is my method, static or instance? Okay, then my see abstract, final. All the values will be there. Abstract. See, let me okay abstract. So same method, whatever it's there in my, you see the parameters there, this will come here, flag for abstract class or method. So if I check this, this will become an abstract method. So my whatever implementation is there, that will be cleared. If I give final, same thing. So if it is, you cannot inherit further. Then event handler for, if I check, you should give the class for which class you want to handle this. Okay, so class, currently this class only I'm having. So I'm just giving the class. Then for event, if I can have, it will give up all my values in the F4. Okay, currently I have only one event, so the default it has come up. Okay, then if I give modeled, so it's like, yeah, same. It will have only my, what you say, this, let me say, okay, events. Okay, I'll give another event, end. Same thing, I'll just copy paste. A static event, public, then demo event, I'll just copy paste, then click, okay, I'll just save it. Okay. Now, this if I go back to my method, we'll get two events. So if I go back to method, go to my method definition, then let me, not sure it's taking so much of time. Let me wait for that to come. Okay, see, if you come to my attributes, now if I give event handler, okay, I'll just give my class name, I'll just public visibility, okay, or event handler, event. Okay, event will give given checkbox and didn't give the value, that's why the error. So I'll make it, if you just see, now we'll have two events. Okay, by we declared both will come. Okay, if you just click, if you just change, now this we'll go save it. Okay, if I'll go back, now you will see it as a event handler. See, in my method type against my handler event, this is event handler. This is, so if you have a list of, so if they don't have follow any naming convention, seeing this icon you can understand this is a event handler. And if you go inside my method, you will know for which event this is handled. Okay, so I think types is, yeah, the same types how we saw in S11, like you have type pools or whatever statements you give in my S11. Yeah, so here what are you given types begin of, so my structure name, what is, okay, so similarly you can give the types here. If you click this, okay, let me give some type. Okay, type maybe simply giving some name area. So if I click this, so it look, so it's type area, it will come here. Here you can give that begin of end of the declaration, you can give it. Aliases is nothing but like, yeah, I'll give my alias name. So I have, instead of calling this all big components from, so this is a method. So instead of calling this, you can just give some alias name. So v. So if I give v, it visibility, you can just give same public, protected, private. I'll give public. So if you say v, the system understands that this is the interface component. Okay. So then by hitting, you will just see. Okay, you can just have this just like a shortcut, like instead of calling that big name, shortcut. Like for me, my name is Rajendra and people, my nickname is, like, people call me Raja, Raju. So same thing. Okay, so I have seen all these things we have seen now. Okay, types, aliases. So this is how the basic overview of my class. So the text elements, there are some text elements. So same as we saw in SE38 report, same text elements you can use here. So in anything else, I just missed it. Sections, local test cases, fine. Local implementation. The macros, yeah, same how we have it in my Microsoft Excel. You have a macros here. I think that's all about my classes. I guess I haven't skipped anything. Okay. Now just let me see what else we can discuss. So before starting completely into my, I mean, OABAP, you just try to see what are you things you have in my basic ABAP. Okay. So I think we have covered this. I'm just thinking of if anything I have missed it. Okay. Just thinking of. Okay. Let me see. I'll just clear it off. Okay. One. Okay. What else I have missed? Okay. So you can just practice these examples. Okay, so materials, these are all my master data. Okay, you will have some much business partners. So these are all my master data. So material, business partners, vendors, then maybe customers. Okay, so these are all SAP master data. So master data is nothing but it is not changed very frequently. Okay, these data will not be changed so frequently. Okay, now the transaction data, if you have maybe the sales order, purchase order. So this is the used case scenarios actually. Till now what we all saw is like theoretical part. So when you come to my practical part, all these things you will have to like see. Now let me go back and see what MM03. Okay, MM03 is my transaction for my materials. Okay, so this is again a module pool program. I'll just have some F4 help. Okay, so this will cover all my things which I discussed till now. Okay, so I'll just these are the views. Okay, so multiple tabs are there. I think okay, that's not no plant data. So let me remove. Okay, I'll just select those. I'll remove all the. I'll just have my basic data. I'll remove all the others. I think still okay. Valuation type it is asking for no valuation type. So let me again select you. I'll see if anything. Yeah, these are select. I'll remove this accounting and costing also. Okay, I'll remove then. Yeah, okay. So this is my module pool. See, for me everything is a module pool program and backend data something will be there on my table level. Okay, now we just try to analyze all this. So what is my screen, what is my UI, then all these things. Okay, MM03, sorry, not MM03 is my transaction. So it's for material display material. Yeah. It is a module pool program. Okay, now uh, back end some tabs. If you just click on these are all like table tabs. So tabs are nothing but will have a button as well as a subscreen. So these things you will understand very clearly once you know if it is a module pool program. All these concepts of module pool program is clear. You will be easily able to understand this. Okay. Now if you see, okay, let me go to SC11, 16. Okay, sorry. So now in Material Master there are so many tables which we can use. Okay, what is this? F4. Let me go to SC16 n. SC16 n. I'll give okay. So now I want to know what are our material related tables in my backend. So from the table name you can just say maybe Mara. Let me see where is that table. Let me. This is just by a name. You don't know randomly or check. See Mara is there material data. Then Marcy is there view table. Okay, plant data. Then Mar D will be there MARD. So this is for storage location data for material. So this is from the table level, okay. But now if you want to see like okay, these are all MARM units of measurement. So now see, I know that this is these are all there, so it is easy to identify. Suppose what if you are new to a transaction. Now if I go to system, okay, see this is my module pool. Okay, so this is my subscreen. So this GUI status. This is my program level. What is my main screen? Subscreen. Now, if you want to know, like, okay, what are my backend tables called? See, it's directly you will not know, right? So if I see, okay, suppose this particular field I want. Okay, let me just put it. Uh, okay, there is a transaction called SC30. I think we have discussed this. This is a runtime analysis transaction. Okay. So SAT, I think it is the yeah SC30 runtime analysis. Okay, so new SAT. So I'll just open. See any transaction or program function mode you can run it from here and if you evaluate immediately. Okay, so I go to transaction. I'll just say MM03. Sorry, MM03. Okay, I'll just execute. Okay, this comes to my transaction. I'll give this number. I'll remove all this whatever it is. I'll just remove it. Come back. Then remove. I'll just click OK. So this opened here. Okay, now I click. So these are the basic tabs. I just opened. Okay, I'll just enter. Then it will say okay, the analysis is done. So now it will show my analysis. So this is my analysis of my transaction trace results. You will have this is the UI. So it will be like desktop one. Here you will have all my values. Okay. These are the programs called. So if you want to see what are all programs called, you can come here. What is a statement and event in that? You can just see everything. Let's see. Such a big log is there. Okay. See what all programs are called. If you just keep on. Then there is something called git list. Okay, now hit list instance, yeah, it's like a detailed of that program. There's a program called calling program and DB tables. Okay, now it will show a list of all the tables which are called in your transaction. See, all the tables you see, these are the tables. Okay, these many tables are called. So if you see the series with T tables, these are the configuration tables like language keys, all this will be the T. It starts with T or any configuration company code data, everything. Now if you see MARC, MAKT, MARD, see Mara table. So this is how it started. So we know previously we knew. Okay, now we don't know means you can see baddies tables, whatever you are called in my backend, everything will be in this list. So you can just check. So what are so Mara table is called. Then my see if you see MARD is called, mean MARM is called. Okay, so everything will come here. Okay, then so not any table. If my search is happening on my table, then it will come and sit here. So you can find out for any transaction, not for only MM03. Any transaction you can find out. MAKT is there, MARD is there, historical location, say mean is there. Okay, international article number. So every table which is triggered in my process will come here. So it will be very easy to identify. So if you want to know what all tables are called in the backend, everything will be identified. So for analysis purpose or you want to see from which table it is coming, this will be very useful. Okay, every time, see, generally everyone else will say, okay, try as you just go to st05, try to uh, analyze from there. See, for st05 it will be so many lines. Okay, so it's very difficult to understand. So if I come back to my hit list, you can see what else for ABAPers, it's like, yeah, what all programs are called, what are tables are called. Maybe for functionals, it is like, yeah, okay, you need only tables, you are not bothered much about my program. Okay, so that would be enough actually. So this is how the runtime analysis looks. Okay, so SL parameters, yeah, these are different tables. T series, yeah, as I said earlier, these are all my configuration tables. Now, if I'll just close it. Okay, so that's it, I think, for today. I don't feel anything. So, uh, fine. So, what we can do is for Monday, maybe we will try to uh, create a program. I mean, SE38 program. We will call all my SE24 methods, different purposes. You just try to practice so that it will be useful for you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, team. Have a great weekend. Bye bye.